Alright guys, in this lesson we're going to talk about classifying shapes based on their size. So we're going to put them into groups based on their size. So I can classify shapes using geometry terms. And we're doing it by their sides, what their sides look like. So what vocabulary words have we learned that can help us classify shapes by their sides? Well, we've kind of learned two words here. We have parallel lines and we have perpendicular lines. So parallel lines, if you remember, they go in the same direction. They can go this direction. They can go horizontally. They can go diagonally. As long as they're traveling in the same direction and they'll never meet or they'll never cross, they're parallel. Perpendicular are going to cross at exactly 90 degrees. So it may look something like this. It could be sideways, as long as there is that corner that shows that 90-degree angle. So we're going to take these shapes here and we're going to put them into our Venn diagram. And our Venn diagram has parallel sides only are going to go on this side. Perpendicular sides only are going to go on this side. And then if they have both parallel and perpendicular, they're going to go in the middle. So let's start with our square here. So first let's see if there's parallel sides. So parallel means they're going in the same direction. And I know that this side and this side are parallel because they're going in the same direction. And this side and this side are parallel because they're going in the same direction. So this one definitely has two pairs of parallel sides. So I know that's for sure. So now let's look at perpendicular. If it's a corner, it will line up with an edge of a piece of paper. So if I look here, does that line up with this edge of that piece of paper? Yes, it does. So that would be perpendicular. If it's that corner, if it's that L shape, it's going to line up. So this also has 4 right angles. So this one would be both parallel and perpendicular. So I would draw that square in the center. So now let's look at our trapezoid. In our trapezoid, I see that these lines here, the top and the bottom, are parallel. These two are not, because if they keep traveling, they would eventually meet each other. So this one has one pair of parallel lines. And if I look at all of the angles here, I don't think they meet at that corner. They don't appear. See, if you look here, that angle doesn't meet at that corner. So this one would be only parallel. So I would draw that in the trapezoid in the parallel column. Then I've got a rectangle. I know that these are parallel. They're traveling in that same direction. And I also know that the top and bottom are parallel to each other because they're traveling in the same direction. So this one has 2 pairs of parallel sides. And if I look at my right angles, it's going to be similar to the square. Each of these is a right angle. So I have 4 right angles, which means that they are perpendicular. So this one is both parallel and perpendicular. So I'm going to draw that rectangle in the middle. Then I've got a triangle here. None of my sides are parallel. They all meet each other. There's no parallel sides. But if you look right here, these 2 lines here make that corner. They make that right angle. So this one has one right angle. So this one would be perpendicular. Okay. Then I've got my hexagon. So I know that these 2 are parallel. They are traveling in the same direction. And then I can see that this line and this line are parallel to each other. And then lastly, this line and this line are parallel to each other. So this one actually has 3 pairs of parallel lines. It has no, all of the angles are obtuse. They're all larger than 90. So this one would be only parallel sides. I'm going to draw my hexagon here. And then I've got my rhombus. So I know that this side and this side are parallel, as well as this side and this side are parallel. So this one has two pairs of parallel lines. And then if I look at my angles, even though it's diagonal, they're still corners. So this one has 4 right angles. So this one is also both parallel and perpendicular, right here. And lastly, draw a shape that has no parallel or perpendicular sides. So this is going to be kind of an odd shape, so you can draw any shape you want. I'm going to just draw something like this. That one would have no parallel or perpendicular lines. There are many that would fall with the no parallel and no perpendicular. It would kind of be an irregular shape. Something like that would have no parallel or perpendicular lines. So any shapes that are kind of irregular would probably fall in this no parallel or perpendicular.